concern that I have, and I'll conclude in a moment, is when you talk about what is the news. What is the news? The news today, as I was driving around today, is some American soldier, unfortunately, got kidnapped in the Middle East, and that's bad, and I'm sure it'll be on television all over tonight. But there's another news story. Today, as we speak, millions of people are starving to death on this earth. That's true. They're starving to death. That's news. But it's boring news. We talked about Ethiopia. Remember that? We talked about Ethiopia a few years ago, and we got kind of bored about seeing all those starving children. What's going on today? The question of who decides what's important and what's not important is really the most important issue. And the media does not have a habit of focusing on what's important. Another big story. Some of you may have seen in the Free Press today that I think it was Champlain Valley Union High School. They had a vote, $5 million bond issue. Headline, should be, 99% of the people say no. 1% of the people came out to vote. 99% of the people stayed home on a vote of over $5 million. Half the people in America don't vote. In town meeting in Vermont, despite all the media myth, most people have given up on the political process. Headline, American people give up, say we don't trust any politician. I doubt it. I doubt it. Story today. Jesse Jackson running one of the most courageous presidential campaigns in American history. You're not going to see it. Outspent 10-1 in New Hampshire. A black man going to an all-white state, talking about a message of bringing working people together and environmentalists together, attempting to build a movement that this country desperately needs. It is a story of tremendous heroism, of huge numbers of people trying to do something extraordinary with no money, taking on the whole world. It's a story that they'll write about 50 years from today. Today it's hard to see Jesse on the news. And you got people spending $20 million buying it, buying the presidency. I think what I would conclude with is simply this. The media itself, and I want to congratulate the Vanguard for hosting this thing tonight, the media itself is as important a political issue as exists. Okay? Candidates running for governor of the state of Vermont should be talking about what is Channel 3 doing? What is Channel 5 doing? Why is it that our own, give you a small, tiny example, why is it that our own local musicians here in the state of Vermont can't get on commercial television? What does it mean that we are bombarded every hour by dozens of the stupid 30-second commercials? What does it do to the minds of our people? Why isn't the medical school, my friends at the medical school up there, and the psychiatrists, and I say this very seriously, doing studies, and you talk to teachers, talk to educators, and they will tell you what commercials and television are doing to the kids. Where are the studies of what television is doing to the kids? And Abby Hoffman is right. Television is the major drug problem in America today. Is it going to be talked about? And where are the stories talking about what money and greed and vulgarity do to us? Money up in the medical center, making more and more money out of people's sickness. Money on television. Television is an extraordinary technology that can educate people, bring this world together. And yet it's been prostituted by commercials, by people who own it, who only want to use it for money. Where is the story about housing? The problem is not that we have 3 million people sleeping out on the street. We don't have a housing crisis. If you got $200,000 to buy a condominium, why aren't they building decent housing? Who is looking at the people who own and control this country? How does an Angelo Pizzagalli become the president of the Board of Trustees of the University of Vermont? What does that mean? That's the major intellectual center of the state of Vermont, in which a guy is a millionaire whose claim to fame was he broke the construction unions in our state. Is that the person? Is that the mentality? What does that tell you about that major intellectual center up there? And where is the media? Ultimately is not an accident. The media is their media. They own it. It's theirs. And we shouldn't complain. In fact, the God's honest truth is, the day after I was elected mayor, I said to some of my colleagues, we can't survive. We're going to have to develop our own media. Well, that wasn't quite true. We were able to survive. But the fact that we have not developed a progressive media, a real progressive media in the state of Vermont, is a real problem. There's nothing to complain about. You can't go to the owners of Gannett and say, you're not giving us a fair shake. That's being silly and that's being a crybaby. In fact, they do reasonably well. It could be a lot worse. That's really true. Okay? Ultimately, you're going to have a real media in this country when we have a political movement in this real country. And when that movement comes together of workers and environmentalists and women, and we're going to put in our money and create our own media, And here's an important point, too, for those of you who are progressives. Ask yourselves why the Pat Robinsons of the world and the Tammy Bakers of the world are able to own their TV stations. We don't own ours. How come the unions, with their money, us, with our coming together, don't own our own media? Why aren't we thinking in that direction? Why aren't we putting pressure on the local media to demand that it be a lot better than it is? The fight ultimately is a political fight. They own the world, we don't. We're striving to make it a better place. Let's stand up, let's do it, and let's take on the media. Thank you very much.